Welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain. We got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts and allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to the Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast, where we always have such sights to show you. This Amber Waves of Grain field can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify, and recently Deezer. I just got notified that we are now being distributed through Deezer. So if you're listening to us via this new distribution system, howdy, and welcome to the podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is the also host, the Ryu to my Ken, Winter Trash Monk the Thizzard.
How's it going, everybody? This is Trash Monk the Third, Trash Monk I, Trash Monk I, and I'm coming at you from the Trash Bunker. Everything's looking good. I've got a copy of Watchmen next to me, a copy of Kingdom Come next to me. I got a copy of a Greek New Testament and classic philosophical questions, and I am good to go.
He is ready to answer all questions.
Yes.
He's ready to divulge the secrets of thine universe, Doug. Yep. That's a little bit of everything, isn't it?
Yeah, and I might burp in this episode.
That's okay, as long as it's not wet, dog. Just don't do wet burps. I can't handle that. That kind of that was forced. That was forced right there.
Homer. That's Marty.
No, it reminds me of the Simpsons episode where it was like number 8 burp, number 8 burp.
Yeah. The B sharps.
Yeah. where Moff got his Yoko Ono done.
Yeah.
she broke up the B sharps.
So how was my week? I'll tell you.
I will accept it.
So I have a friend who I guess I shouldn't. I have access to Disney Plus now.
Thank you.
Yes. And first thing, watch the 2 episodes of The Mandalorian that are out.
Can we talk about that? Yes.
Yeah. Then we could talk about it. Actually, let me tell you what else I watched.
Okay.
The next thing was the first half of the first episode of Recess.
Nice. That's a good show.
Then I went and watched the Disney 1920s and 30s Three Little Pigs. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it said like cultural what was it? Like
cultural insensitivities may be found in this cartoon.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I gotta watch it now.
Yeah, man.
And the only thing I can come up with is that there's a scene, and I've heard about this before actually, that the wolf dresses up as like a Jewish person, I believe.
Yeah, I know exactly the scene you're talking about. Yeah,
and he has like brushes that he's trying to sell.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. And then I stopped watching Disney Plus and went to Criminal Minds on Netflix, which I said I would never watch that show, but I need something in the background.
I hear you, man. You need static, dog. I'm the same way. Some kind of noise has to be happening at all times. Otherwise, the mind goblins activate. We can't have that. Dude.
But how was your week? Oh, actually, yeah, let's talk about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that kind of goes into my week, too, because I caught up with the Mandalorian as well.
Right.
What do you think, man? What's your feelings about it?
Love it!
I need more of that on the podcast, my man. I like that enthusiasm, dog.
Man, I thought I would be like, I would not be on board. Like there was something in me that was a little hesitant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I watched it, and again, I'm the guy that likes all things Star Wars, okay? but I've yet to watch the animated Clone Wars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Good stuff,
this was Primavera, Primo Supreme, Primo Taco Bella content. It's been forever since I've ever had to watch a show that the episodes came out week by week.
Same here. Absolutely. Yeah.
But this is the show that makes me want to do it. There's only been a few. The Blacklist will always make me want to watch it every week, regardless of whether it's a slump of an episode or not. Watching Seinfeld reruns when I know TBS is gonna air it at a certain time, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And now the Mandalorian, I like it,
dude. I think I know why it's so good. I think I have an idea of why it's so good.
Go for it.
I think it's because it's so minimalistic. It's not a lot. It's not in even a bad way. It's like they've stripped down the Star Wars universe to like a New Hope level. You know what I mean? Like, there's not.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's not a very complicated story. It's very lone wolf and cub, right? In regards to, you have the stoic Mandalorian. We don't even know the guy's name yet.
Right.
He's just a bounty hunter, and he's a man of few words. And the universe is so. It's always what I've wanted. This is what I've been talking about for months now, right?
Right.
Is let's just get as far away from the Skywalkers as possible, and just throw me into the Star Wars universe with just, the grimiest people, dude. Like,
right.
the underbelly of it all. And that's what this seems to be, man. It's just this quiet, very Sergio Leone kind of Western twang to it that's so understated and so quiet at times and cinematically beautiful, man. It's very well shot. It speaks through its images. It's really good, man.
Right. It really does good. Everything well, where it does the thing that I liked in Star Trek Discovery, which is just like pepper you with like Easter eggs and like pointing to the show. And then it doesn't shy away from the timeline, because it can be very easy. Like, you take the Star Wars movies and they're all pretty much taking a wide angle lens on what's going on in the universe.
Yep, absolutely.
Except for like Rebel, I would go. Rogue One kind of did that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
But this TV show, and I think this is what they should do for all the TV shows. Is a micro lens going in, and the threat of going in too micro could be that you're no longer attached to anything in the universe. But what did the first episode do? Boom! It talks about how certain Empire credits are no longer good.
Yep.
It shows you that stormtroopers are forming like their own squads and
little pocket unions and stuff. Man, right?
It is like golden. Jon Favreau hits it out of the park.
It's just so smart that, like you said, they just put a fisheye lens onto just a sector of the universe, right? But they do little things that still tie everything together. The second episode has an Easter egg to the Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. It's stupid, man. I love it, man. It's like, and it takes place in a time where so much could happen. Right, it's in between the last Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. That's 30-40 years of events that you can just pluck any time between that and make an entire show. And that's what they're doing, and you don't have to dwell on Luke's upbringing of the new Jedi Order. You just kind of hint at things, like very subtle, and I have spoken on that. I'm
they hit it out of the park. Like, they must have known that Baby Yoda was going to be.
I can't with Baby Yoda. I can't with Baby Yoda, man. He is just all over my timeline. I'm tired of looking at him.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda is the future, dog. I can't with Baby Yoda, dog. He's too strong, man. And it's just, it's so marketing. And that's maybe the only cringy thing about the series is Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda works.
Right. It does work.
It makes you care about him in this weird, where this story's going to go. I have no idea.
Wouldn't it be crazy that he's actually a reincarnation of Yoda?
Yeah, because Yoda would be dead at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And so then it's throwing into the timeline that like there is reincarnation, so we could have a Skywalker in the future.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I would prefer to just be a member of Yoda's alien race, and we don't know a lot about them, so I'd love a deeper dive into them in general.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of reincarnation or clones. The Clone Wars wasn't too far away, so this could just be a flat out clone created by the Empire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
From what is the name of their planet? Camino. But yeah, I honestly I don't want to know a lot about the Mandalorian. I don't want to know his backstory.
Right.
I don't want to know his name.
He's the Lone Ranger, right? Or the man with no name, right?
Yeah, I want him to be the man. That's
actually very accurate, dude.
Yeah, I want him to be the man with no name. I want him to be a man of few words, speaks through actions. He is funny. His timing is amazing.
Right.
Man.
But let's talk about the special effects too, because a friend of the podcast that listens to this, what's up, Marcos?
Was cracking.
Yeah. Remember that Kool-Aid tobacco that we were talking about? Okay.
Yikes.
Anyways, he made a great point of the special effects of this is fantastic.
Yep.
Even so, in like comparing it to like Marvel movies, how is it that this like Lucas, like this Star Wars TV show has like better graphics than special effects than some Marvel movies? Yeah.
Why? Because I get the feeling that a lot of this show is practical, man. There's a lot of practical effects hidden. Like there's the scene where he is learning how to ride those weird little creatures. And there's some scenes where I'm like, that's a puppet, dude. That's a digitally enhanced puppet. And it just looks tangible. It looks solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all the makeup effects.
All of it's digitally enhanced. Like there's a ton of practical effects.
Yeah. All the Jawas are practical. There's certain, I even think there's models. I think that the Jawa ship was a model, dude. That would be awesome. Yeah. And they just touch it up here and there to kind of mask it. And I think that blend of puppetry and digital is the way to go. That's how it's always supposed to be been. The graphics are amazing, man.
So this is how much I'm a fanboy of. If they could do a new Star Wars TV show to the point where, regardless of what time of year it is, I'm going to be able to watch at least 2 episodes in the Star Wars universe, I'd be fine.
If the rest of Disney's internal output, like the TV shows they plan to debut on Disney Plus, or any indication or anything close to what the Mandalorian has shown us so far, I have high hopes for the Marvel stuff. I have so much high hopes for She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight, because the Mandalorian is just it's the console seller, man. It's the app seller, and it's so good. It's just
I'm on record of saying that I would like to live in a world where it guaranteed there's a new James Bond movie every year, new Marvel movie every year, new Mad Max movie every year, and a new Skywalker movie every year.
I'm okay with that. There's certain things I'm okay just having annual. Certain things I've said in the past that
we must sacrifice one movie to make this work.
I don't want episodes every year, right? But I would like some Star Wars content every year on some level, right? Like I don't need episode 9, 10, 11, 12 back to back.
Walt, he know not what he says.
But I want Star Wars content. And I don't need like the big overlining story. Like you said, I need the microcosm. I need just point at a planet.
Like I'm going to work on my Jar Jar Binks fan fiction.
Yeah, quietly.
And I'll just send it Disney's way. And
and they'll
this is Jar Jar Binks
Gaiden. Jar Jar Binks Gaiden.
Where he needs to regain his like confidence and get the respect of his peers again.
No, he after the death of Palpatine, he just becomes the new Dark Lord of the Sith as predisposed.
No, it's already canon that he became like a town idiot somewhere on the planet.
Yeah, and he just kind of just wasted away.
Yeah.
Dude, so we're in unison. I mean, we're in agreement that The Mandalorian is the best thing since sliced bread, right?
Well,
I'm not going to go as far as say it's the best Star Wars content ever, because some people are losing their minds over it. But I will say, it feels good to have solid, well-written Star Wars content. We don't get that often,
That's true.
To be
Like
completely honest.
with what the Star Wars show could have been.
100%.
Like,
It could have been
who would have
stupid,
thought
dude.
it would be this gritty from a Disney Plus channel?
And it's not. And it's the good thing. It's not bloody. It's not overly saturated.
But
They
it's
don't
still
curse.
violent. You still have instead of people like bleeding out, you have people being evaporated.
Yeah, it still gets the point across.
Yeah,
And I think that's smart because you can avoid that PG-13 rating because they don't show people getting cut in half or struck down, but you do get exploded in vaporized. So I'm cool with that. However they cut their corners. But if it's still this good writing, good production, good screenplays, I'm excited, man. It's good to be. It feels good to have strong Star Wars content.
True that.
What else you do with your week, man?
No, that's about it. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. Also, I'll do my week. Also, watch the-Mandalorian as we just gushed about. Funny, I was going to do a MOTN reviews on a movie called Little Monsters. And the person I was reviewing with actually was talking about the most recent Little Monsters, starring Lupita Nyong'o, yes. And I was thinking about the other Little Monsters that was with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel. So I watched the one from the 90s.
He had his first dad moment.
Yeah, I totally I boomered that situation so hard. But I got to watch Little Monsters for the first time in like 20 years. So
does it hold up?
No, it's very 90s sappy and very 90s cute. It's just, what I could see, that show Big Mouth on Netflix?
Yeah.
About the kids going through puberty and the puberty is like manifested as this creature. I think Big Mouth took a little bit from Little Monsters because the Howie Mandel monster creature, it's just the kid's id. You know what I mean? It's just whatever the hell he wants to do, right? It's the id of a child going from a kid to a young adult. And it kind of tells the story of getting a grip of that and knowing that you just can't do whatever the hell you want without consequences. And it was a fun little movie. I do enjoy that I watched it. So that's something I've done this week. Haven't played much video games. I've just been watching people play Star Wars Fallen Order. That looks fun. Buggy as hell, but it looks fun. And that's pretty much been my week. Just catching up on The Mandalorian, watching movies I don't need to watch, kind of diving deeper into Disney Plus, and that's been about it, man. You want to get to some polls?
Yes. Let us go to the polls, everybody.
Polls will eat your eat your polls. So I thought I talked about Kaz. I think I've done this poll before in the past. I don't remember, but because I'm getting old. I'm an old man. I have a beard too. So I asked the Nerdiverse, what's your favorite fictional car of all time? And I posed 4 cars, and one's really showing my age because it got the least amount of votes. But I gave the options for the Batmobile, Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, Kit from Knight Rider. No one remembers Knight Rider. And the DeLorean Time Machine from the Back to the Future series. And I was surprised, actually, by the outcome of these votes because it kind of doesn't make sense. So the Batmobile got about 26% of the vote. The Ecto-1, which is from Ghostbusters, got 13% of the vote.
Something strange
in a neighborhood. Bustin' makes me feel good.
What?
No, it's a meme. Kit got 9%, but the DeLorean Time Machine got 52% of the votes. And I was sitting here thinking, like, in regards to cultural relevance, how relevant is Back to the Future now with the current zeitgeist? There hasn't been any Back to the Future media. There hasn't been any TV shows or reboots or anything like that. How does the DeLorean beat out the Batmobile? Very confusing.
I think our audience is a little bit more nostalgia oriented than Batmobile, where it's like Back to the Future. I think wins out on the nostalgia. Batmobile is timeless, but people gotta love their time machines.
I mean, it is one of the coolest designs of all time. It's one of the most iconic vehicle designs. Even though the Time Machine was heavily influenced or heavily advertised in Ready Player One, they had that all through there. But yeah, I think when you close your eyes and think of a cool car, it's the scene at the end of Back to the Future where it swings around and flies into the screen, right? Just that, like, that's how you end a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I never have been that big of a fan. Here you go.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it.
That's why I was like, Kit. I wanted to put Kit on there because I always like to put a social experiment on the poll just to see. I always put like a dark horse. Like, I know this isn't going to get many votes, but I'm curious if it gets any votes. And Kit's another one of those iconic views of Kit just coming closer to the screen from the desert in that music, for people who are old enough to remember Knight Rider, Kit's pretty much a Tesla. He's just a talking car that can go into turbo boost, So you put Siri in a Lamborghini, that's just Kit, We've kind of hit that scientific wall,
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Speaking of science, master and mystery, you want to get into the news?
Let's get to the news.
Start spreading the news. I'm hearing today. I'm gonna be a part of her. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
News. All right. Jack.
I'm gonna get the video game news. I'm gonna get the fighting game news out the way. So Winter doesn't have to suffer too much. Don't sigh. Fighting games rule. Fighting games rule. I don't want to hear it.
That's my nose.
I'm gonna teach you how to do one frame links, and you're gonna like it.
What does that even mean?
You'll learn. Sindel has been announced and shown off from Mortal Kombat 11. Sindel is a past character. I think she debuted in Mortal Kombat 3. She looks pretty good. Just wanted to bring that out there. Give some Sindel love. She has ghost combos, which I'm always a fan of. Street Fighter V is getting a championship edition, which kind of spells the end for Street Fighter V. Thank God. Because I'm ready for Street Fighter 6 or whatever they're doing. And they introduced Gil, which was the last boss
out of here
of Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Second Impact.
What is this world?
Where he says, the mark of my dignity will scar thy DNA. Gil is the realist. He's the last boss character that's coming to the game. So, hype for that. 2K apologizes for racial social media posts following widespread hack. Did you see this?
I haven't heard about this yet, so tell me a little bit about it, Jack.
So apparently someone hacked the 2K Twitter account. They're heavily advertising WWE 2K11 and all their new games. So someone just hacked their account and just started saying really stupid, ignorant stuff on their account, like for like a day. They were just saying like really vulgar, sexist, racist, like just really crazy stuff. The person who was hacking them just blew it all the way up. They eventually got a regained ownership of their account and then had to do the media back down of, sorry guys, you know how it is. We got hacked. This is not us. Obviously it's not us. Please don't hate us. Yes, we know our game's broken. This is the last thing we need. But, it's one of those things, man. I guess everybody gets hacked eventually. But I think they handled it well, given the circumstances. Because it's not like something stupid like EA responding to Battlefield 2 players by telling them that they don't deserve breaks in the game. You buy your microtransactions and shut up. But, it's one of those things that just happen in this industry nowadays. So, I mean, I applaud them for coming out in front of it and just apologizing. But it sucks. A tip of the hat. Actually, them doing something kind of right. So, a tip of the hat to 2K.
Now, let's get to a wag of the finger.
Now, check your malware, your spyware. It's secure. And as Apone would say, secure that shit, Hudson. Look into my eye. A new Mass Effect game is in very early development. Sigh.
Now, it could be good.
Oh, jeez, man. Do you remember the horror that was Mass Effect Andromeda?
Yeah, that was like one of the first major horrors I remember.
For this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of sucks because Outer Worlds has set this bar that you know what? This year was really bad for AAA video game industry. They didn't have a good 2019, man. Nobody did. None of the big names. They all had controversy. They all had screw-ups. And it took the indie guys to really show them how to make video games good again, you know? So it's going to take a lot for EA to convince us to buy another Mass Effect game anytime soon.
Right. Now, if they add a Battle Royale to it, man...
Well, you know they're going to, because it's EA, man. They can't help but be scummy. But...
Well, okay,
here's
Mike G going. It is on equal playing field saying if you add a Battle Royale mode, you are scummy.
Well, you are aiming for the lowest hanging fruit, aren't you? I'm just saying. But even the battle royales genre is starting to slow
Master
down.
Mike G.
I'm just saying, dude. I'm just calling it how I see it, man.
You are going for the lower fruit.
You are hanging for lower fruit. You know, so I'm just like, especially when it's forced, man. When it's forced, it's like, come on, guys.
It's forced. You give me your money, I'm going to shove this game down your throat, and you're going to pick up that controller after I shove it into your hand.
So you're telling me they're not doing that?
They're not.
Oh my God, shut up.
By far, they are not.
They're not saying consume product, get excited for new product, don't ask questions. You're bringing down the respect and dignity of this podcast. We're moving on to the next.
You called them scum. If they added a Battle Royale mode.
Speaking of Battle Royale and scum, Star Wars is coming to Fortnite.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to get your Star Wars skin, your Star Wars blaster, and your Star Wars and your Fortnite.
Nice.
Aren't you excited?
I'm excited.
Star Wars and
I'm excited for folks that they're able to play that and stay off the servers of games that I do enjoy.
So what do you call that? It's garbage, dude.
I'm not saying it's garbage. I'm just saying, look, just because I prefer poker, I'm not going to call blackjack players scum of the earth.
I'm not saying the players are garbage. I'm saying their practices are garbage, though.
Okay. Let's talk about comics.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't mean to be so real on this. It's just I can't.
Did you take your medication? I took my baby aspirin and lisinopril.
Nope. I need to take my lisinopril, but I just can't reward negative behavior, man. And them scumming out these people, having them spend so much in microtransactions and cosmetics, and it's predatory and garbage. I do need to take my meds.
I feel like we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast.
And sadly enough, every time it pushes that button, well, I'm gonna have to give my 2 cents.
Okay.
Anywho, system overload does not compute. 110110. The Russo brothers are going to produce a documentary on the Marvel vs. DC extravaganza in the 90s.
That's
awesome.
Awesome. That's as much of a niche podcast documentary for me to watch. I'd watch that. Dude,
I remember just to give you a backdrop, it's 1991, 92.
I'm not like that. I'm giving
We're eating Pizza Hut. We're going to go see Space Jam.
Hold on. Before you start this, let me get something ready. Hold on.
All right, man. You know, we're wearing our cross colors. Power Rangers rule. You know what I mean? We're listening to This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. This is how we do it.
Okay, go on. This is the background music to it's 1991.
It's 1991. We're listening to grunge rock. Yeah. And Marvel and DC Comics come together for the first time in history and present to us Marvel vs. DC, a run of comics that was voted on by the voters on which heroes would win which battles. So you had Lobo versus Wolverine, you had Batman versus Captain America. You had like Lex Luthor versus Magneto, stupid stuff like that. You would vote, and whoever got the highest votes would win that battle.
Okay, you went too long.
I'm sorry. I should have kept it up, man. So this was this event. It drove us kids crazy because it's never been done before again, and it was just, it took the schoolyards by storm. Arguments, final victories for certain heroes. Namor versus Aquaman, dude. And what sprung from Marvel vs. DC was something that is so niche and so 90s, but it was amalgam comics, where then they blended these characters together. So you got sick characters like Speed Demon, who was a mix of the Flash and Ghost Rider. And you got Bruce Wayne, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Spider Boy. Oh, today is the greatest.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to end soon because I don't know the rest.
No, it's fine. But yeah, just to say all that to just geek out nostalgia. I'm super excited to watch this documentary because it's going to take me all the way back. Did you know that there was a Marvel restaurant in the 90s called Marvel Mania? That was at Universal Studios.
Stop.
And they sold Captain America burgers and Hulk fries and Spider-Man shakes and stuff like that.
Was it the inspiration for the epilogue of Kingdom Come?
I think so. Don't give away the homework just yet, my man. That's a conversation for later. But yeah, I'm super excited for this documentary. And it was actually funny enough because those came out around the same time. Yeah. And I'm really excited to hear that part of history brought back. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of things that need to be history.
Okay, you're done.
Yeah, I'm done. The musical stylings of Winter Trash Month Wizard. So I need to talk about this and put this to bed once and for all. The Justice League Snyder Cut movement. What do you know about this?
Free the cut.
Free the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. That's all.
So, as we all know, quick history. Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder was directing Justice League film for Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. Tragedy struck his family, and he had to back out of directing the film. Then Joss Whedon took over direction of the film and directed the second half of the film, completely rewriting and pretty much creating his own ending to the movie. So it's two directors working on the same movie. That being said,
never good unless you're the Coen brothers.
Never good unless you're the Coen brothers or the Wachowskis.
Well, not the Wachowskis. We've seen what happened.
Yep. So, needless to say, it flopped. It was one of the most it was the biggest commercial failure of that year, right? Made no money to the point where they scrapped the entire DCEU and they're trying to weirdly start over. So, There is a social media contingency of fans who are screaming at Warner Brothers to release the full Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, which may I remind you doesn't exist. He never finished this movie. There's storyboards. There's unfinished VFX work. There's some shots that were filmed but never completed. It's an unfinished work. So for years now, since the movie came out, there's been a contingency of fans who are screaming, "Release the Snyder Cut, you cowards!" Right? Just do it. We want it.
Right.
And recently, people attached to the film, such as Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, even Zack Snyder himself, have been backing these people, saying, "Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut," and it's starting to cause a murmur in the industry. People are like, "Does it really exist?" There's people who are saying, like, Jason Momoa was saying, like, "I'm gonna tell you guys, legit, it exists." It's just making it even worse, right?
You can't prove it that it doesn't exist.
You can't. Yeah, it's like raptors in the Bible. You can't prove they weren't there, because they were. But I need to just reality check everyone, because I'm sorry to be the person who says this, but asking a business, any business, to pour money back into a failed project and re-release that project when they're trying to complete a brand new initiative is madness. It's 100%
madness.
It's madness. You know how much money they would lose if they, let's say, brought everybody back, refilmed the rest of it, did the VO work again, did the VFX work again, did special effects, then had to market it. It's never going to happen, dude. They're never, ever going to do it. If it was like a success and Justice League made $2 billion and blew out the box office, maybe. But too much of it was never finished for them to do anything with it. If anything, I would love for it to be animated. Do an animated Snyder cut and get everybody to do voiceover work. That's cheaper. Just do it animated, right? Because they're not getting the actors to come back. They're not getting they're not going to get Ben Affleck to suit up again.
Why don't you instead have like Zack Snyder direct his own film using the footage that was already recorded, like kind of like.
But you need like copyright like acceptance from Warner Brothers. They still need to spend money for him to even do that.
That's true.
A lot of money, so it's like they're not going to do it, man. It's like never. And something just came out today, like Warner Brothers had to nip that in the bud, like we're not contractually obligated to release the Snyder Cut or anything related to a Snyder Cut for Justice League.
So they admit it. There is a Snyder Cut.
No, they're not doing it, man. So you admit it. So I'm just like, guys, we got to get back to reality here, man. And I may eat crow tomorrow. They may release some Snyder Cut on DVD and I look Blu-ray, and I look like a big ass. But I'm just saying, it just doesn't sound right for a business to want to pursue that on any level, especially with a failed project. And I hate to say it, guys, Justice League was a commercial failure. It's like that. Like, I wish that
define
failure. It didn't make the money it was supposed to. It didn't make the money it was supposed to. Okay, it was a commercial
failure.
It was a commercial and critical failure.
Okay,
I'm just saying, people love it. People love that movie. People are violently positive towards this movie, and it wasn't. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed it when I saw it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I know about Mustache Superman and all that, but looking past all that, I still enjoyed it more than Superman v Batman or Batman v Superman. Oh, jeez. Yeah. But I wouldn't hold my breath on Warner Brothers going back to that pot to bring all these people back and put out a cut of the movie. Would you really want to see just unfinished VO and just a Frankenstein end of a movie? Wouldn't that just ruin it for you? Like, I wouldn't want that, I don't know. It's very, and I don't want to poo-poo on people who are releasing Snyder Cut fans. If you're passionate about that, that's all you. I'm just saying it doesn't seem feasible for Warner Brothers to do that, chase your rainbow, man. But I'm just saying, it's going to be.
Just stick to the river that you're used to.
Just stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. Speaking of sticking to things, Legendary Television is developing a Sin City TV series.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
You go wrong with that.
Sin City is a good universe to build upon, and you know what I mean?
Now, what if they did it every episode is a different character?
I'm down with that. We were just talking about the microcosm situation with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Sin City is an awesome universe.
A dame to kill for.
Yeah, it could be like Tales from the Crypt, but for crime noir.
Yeah.
Just different pocket stories.
And then Tarantino can play the Crypt Keeper.
He already is the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. So now, this next episode is based on Sergio
Leone. And he won't shut up, and he loves feet.
Yeah. And every word is replaced with the N-word. Well, why did you do that for this episode? I'm a crazy man.
Because I'm crazy and I love Inglewood.
I love Inglewood. I'm gonna go on Black Twitter, and it's all gonna be good.
It's all gonna be good, and they're gonna love me because I made Kill Bill.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember the first thing I was gonna say. I'm gonna go on Charlemagne's radio station next.
Yeah, I'm going on Charlemagne the God, the morning show.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna accept me because I'm a crazy man. Yeah. I hire Pam Grier.
Yeah. Yeah. I was into Dolomite before everyone else.
I don't like the bands you like. Stupid.
Psycho 2 is the best Psycho.
Psycho 2 Halloween 3 is the best Halloween.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
He would say that. He would say Halloween 3 is the best Halloween.
You know he would. He would he would be that kind of hipster to be like, Halloween 3. You know Halloween 3 was the best Halloween, right? You know had more to say than the entire series.
And they just transform into a donkey.
And then he just goes, he just live transforms on the set into a donkey. Where do my hands go? It's my opinion, man.
And then we cut to later into the earlier that day where he's like, I'm going to transform into a donkey on
Check
set.
this out. I'm injecting myself with donkey DNA.
Yeah. And then John Travolta's just in the bathroom.
Yeah, he comes out right before he gets blown away by Bruce Willis stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of things
where am I?
I don't know what year is this. Speaking of things that are going to blow people away, Robert Downey Jr. Apparently is returning as Iron Man in the What If series.
People away too much, right?
I just feel like, why are they still bothering this man?
It's not them bothering him, okay? It's like
let him rest, Doug.
Yes. Well, you're telling me you're gonna give me like $3 million to say lines
to do voice
in a padded voice off.
So let me finish explaining. So for Disney Plus, What If is a cartoon series where they're doing these what if stories, kind of like the what if cartoons of yesteryear. Where it's like, what if Black Panther was Star-Lord, or what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum, things like that. Mm-hmm. And it's all animated. So all the original film actors are coming back to do voice acting. What if Howard the Duck
was a goose?
Howard the Goose? Gary the Goose, Doug?
Even though, wait a minute, I'm mixing. No, I got it right, Marvel.
Geralt the Goose, Doug?
Yeah.
I'm with it,
Howard
man.
the Goose.
Howard the Goose. Yeah. So, like, apparently Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to reprise his role as Iron Man for some what if scenario. And Robert Downey Jr. doing voice work is probably going to be godlike. It's probably going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But let the man rest, man. Give him a year, dude. It has been a year. Let the dude chill, dog. Let him do other stuff, man.
So like, you're including free Papa John's if I do this.
That would sell me, dude.
Yeah.
Mike, listen. I need you to be the voice of Juggernaut. I got things to do. Free Papa John's for your endorsement of the Juggernaut movie.
You just go in like Krusty the Clown?
Yeah, just come in smoking a cigarette. Say, what are my lines again?
Yeah. All right, well, let me get the real guy. Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Jeez. And lastly, Eddie Murphy is coming back to make and star in Beverly Hills Cop 4 on Netflix.
Oh
boy. Yeah.
And Gilbert Gottfried's going to be back.
No, I just want Judge Reinhold to be in it. Yeah. Everybody remembers 80s star Judge Reinhold, Doug. You know? But if we get raunchy Eddie Murphy again, I don't care what he does, man. After Dolomite, I just want more funny Eddie Murphy. You know, like I just want him to get back into like his fighting shape and make a resurgence, because he's so talented, but he's just been so kneecapped by his own crazy for so many years. You know, Pluto Nash just destroyed him. You know, and it's like seeing him in Dolomite actually trying to act and be good. And I do know he was good in Dreamgirls as well, but I just want to see him back in his element, being funny, cussing, just wild, like Eddie Murphy, man. Yeah. It's something weird I found about like black comedians, where they just have this mileage on them. After a while, they just drop, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of nutty. Kind of like you think about Richard Pryor, you think about like Chris Tucker, you think about Eddie Murphy, you think about Cat Williams. You know what I'm saying?
He had the Cat Williams.
Dave Chappelle, dude.
You're talking about people that are still alive and actively working.
No, they're not. I mean, like, Dave Chappelle had to have a mental breakdown and go to Africa because the weight of his fame took him to a place where he didn't want to be anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like Richard Pryor was on fire running down the street on drugs because the weight of his fame.
Freemason.
Yeah, man. And like, you know, Cat Williams lost his mind, you know, like
he beat up a little kid.
A little kid beat him up. It was the other way around. Yeah. A little kid beat him up. Yeah. But I'm
actually gonna have to watch that after this.
It's really crazy. It's still on YouTube. Yeah. But I just think these guys need more like mental, like, no jokes aside, like we need to do more for our black comedians. I just think that's kind of interesting kind of trend I've seen since the advent of the filmed African American comedian, dude. You know, it's just kind of nutty. But I'm happy to see that Eddie Murphy is trying to make a comeback. And we were just teasing Quentin Tarantino, but I would love for Eddie Murphy to be in a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know, let him say whatever the hell he wants. Just let him go nuts. You know,
or have Tarantino direct
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Eddie Murphy's stand-up routine. The problem would be all the punchlines would be before the setups.
Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah, pretty
is it stupid or is it the best joke we've had tonight, Mike?
Dang, you didn't have to just like open the window on me, man. Let me feel the rain.
I am trying my best.
Why are you so strong, dude? I bow in your power.
I just took a Red Bull.
I just took Red Bull. The worst thing I've ever done in my life is drink a Red Bull and vodka, dude. Pro tip, don't do that. Because drinking Red Bull and vodka, you're in two places you don't want to be. You're
mess
super
with the Vod Bull, you get the horns, brother.
Yeah, you're super drunk. Yeah. You're super drunk and you can't pass out. It's the worst.
I'm a vampire.
What's happening to me? It's the worst.
What else you got for me, Daddy-O?
That's it, man. That's the news, my man. We did it. We conquered the podcast, man. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to another Mandalorian episode on Sunday, I believe. Is that when they come out, Sunday?
I think so, yes. Sunday, okay. Saturday, something like that.
I got a Sharks game that just started, folks. I can't fit.
That's why Winter started rushing the podcast. All right, baby, let's go.
I cannot finish an episode without mentioning the Sharks. And, play some Rocket League.
Winter, it's okay if I cuss right now?
No.
All right, I was going to cuss.
What were you going to say?
Winter said no, so I'm not going to cuss.
What were you going to say?
So I can cuss?
You could just, bleep yourself. You could, you're a grown man. You do what you want. Okay. I'll just look disappointed like old lady.
Okay. Fuck the Sharks. So I am going to.
You don't even know what you're talking about. So that it doesn't even matter. Like it's a toddler saying "Goo Goo Gaga" to me. Goo Goo Gaga Street Fighters 5. So I don't understand.
Are you equating fighting game players to Baba's Nut?
No, I'm equating you to not knowing what you're talking about. Hockey.
Oh man, let's go Rangers.
You love Rangers?
No, man.
You see Kevin Smith wear one
jersey. That's it.
Jersey.
That's it, I'm gonna go Rangers.
Yeah. Name a Rangers player.
It's Tommy Lipkins. Shut up. Yeah. He doesn't exist.
There is they have a player, Michael Haley, that is like a fighter for their team. But he came from the Sharks. Okay.
The Sharks. Yeah, man. You have any passing thoughts before we close this bad boy out?
Yeah. Check me out at Trash Monk, the third Trash Monk, I. You won't see any of this garbage language from my mouth on the internet. Yeah. And, we have some fun stuff going on over there.
Yeah. Man.
I'm talking like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. See,
life
finds a way. If you want to find a way to our social media page, you can go onto Twitter and type in @mnerdiverse, where you can be a part of the Nerdiverse community and see all of our weird posts, see our haiku reviews, see our polls of the week, and just ask us anything you want. Ask us questions. We will give you answers here at Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast. If you want to support us monetarily, you can check out our Patreon, which is Patreon.com/MOTN. where $1 a month makes you want to go crazy. But if you wanted to support us non-monetarily, you can always like our content. However you're listening to our podcast, you can comment on our episodes, especially if you're an Apple Podcast. Please leave us a review. And you can also subscribe to our social media efforts, as well as subscribe via your podcasting distribution, maybe Spotify or Spreaker, maybe? Deezer, hey, new Deezer people. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, let me be the first one to say thank you and welcome to the Nerdiverse. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G.
And I've been your host, Trash Monk I.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond. Go Rangers. I wanted
Day
to say
one member.